Hi everyone. It's quiet around here, so I decided to get off a quick little joint while everybody's gone, and we can get a little bit of work done on a bonsai. And I chose this pretty little boxwood. This tree was something that one of my viewers gave to me, and heartfelt thanks for that. It wasn't originally in this pot. I repotted it in this pot mainly for the tree's health. But the thing I want to emphasize about this tree is the tree was free. The pot came off my club raffle table, so the pot was free. So at this point, the total cost on this guy is $0. This is why it's wonderful to have friends in the bonsai world, and trust me, if you join a club, if you get out, if you meet and talk to people, you're going to encounter some of the nicest people in the world of bonsai. So in the name and spirit of friendship, let's do a little bit of work on this nice little boxwood. You're looking at what I chose for the front right now, and we've got a couple of things going on. We need to do a little bit of wiring and a little bit of pruning and remedy some of the shagginess here, and then I'm going to take out these small rocks that the previous owner put in, and we're going to integrate a larger rock to sort of amplify his original intent and amplify the image a little bit. So let's take a look here and we'll figure out where we're going to go from here. We're going to start by taking some small diameter bonsai wire here. I think this is 1mm wire or thereabouts. And we'll wire out our primary branch here and maybe trim back a little bit around here, and then we'll wire out the apex and try to get these other branches under control, just so we have a bit more of a controlled image. So we'll get started here by cutting a length of our 1mm wire, and we'll anchor it by spiraling around the lower trunk here. And we'll take the wire and we'll wind it around the branch here. Now we want to try not to trap any foliage under it. Some of this foliage can just be trimmed off. We have a little branch here that's kind of in the way. That's not really contributing to the image. Then we'll work our way between and through the foliage until we get to the tip of the branch. Now we cut the wire, and now we have it anchored, and we can kind of bring this down and out, and that starts to show us where we need to trim. To get the contour of the branch. To curl this wire back and sort of anchor it at the branch tip. Now if we're going to put some little bends in here, we need to do this now, because once boxwood wood hardens up, it's almost impossible to bend it. We've got a little dead branch in there, we'll take that out. We'll take this off. We're just going to kind of clean up everything that's sort of going upward. Now we'll take a look at this in the context of the rest of the tree and see where we are. Okay, we can take off this branch that goes towards the front here, just the tip of it, because it's getting to be a bit of an eye poker. And this is where we are right now. We've got the first branch pretty well wired and taken down and cleaned up. And we're going to move on to the other branches in just a minute here. Let's see if you can see our little friend in the middle of the frame here. He's a jumping spider. They have excellent vision, and he knows that we're watching him. Look at him right there on that branch. We'll try to get in closer, but this little guy is very smart. Yeah, there he is. You see him moving? Okay, he's on the other side now. Let's turn this around and... yeah, look at that guy. That's a beautiful little fella. Okay, we'll try to work around him and try not to disturb him while he's chasing down the aphids and the other bad guys and patrolling the bonsais. But boy, look at that guy. Okay, well here's the bonsai all wired out. I couldn't chase away the jumping spider, so it turns out he owns this bonsai. He's sitting right down here on the middle of the trunk. So like I said, we're just going to work around him and let him do his job. The next thing we need to do here is fix the rock thing, because this is starting to be a really nice looking tree, but we need something to complement the fact that it's off center. And the rocks were a good idea, but this one's coming apart, so you know that's not good. And these roots aren't really holding these others in there. So we'll just, we're not going to do a full-on repotting. We're going to just kind of massage things around here and try to fit a rock in to sort of justify the tree's kind of slanting aspect. So let's get a rake here, little bonsai rake, and go in here and see if we can do a little something with the roots without getting too radical. Oh, this thing has really filled the pot with roots, hasn't it? Okay, so we're going to have to kind of cut a few of these away. This won't hurt it, even at this time of year, as long as we don't get too radical with the root surgery. The plan here is to just kind of work in a space for the rock, and maybe we'll work it in deeper and closer on another repotting next spring. Okay, this isn't quite the look that I'm going for, but let's see what we can do here. Let's try this one. Oh, that's a much better fit. Yeah, this rock has a nice little recess in the bottom. This one's not the right color, so we're going to probably dig up another rock and some moss, but let's have a look at what it looks like so far. Isn't that nice? Looks like it was there all along. Okay, so we'll cut here to another little seam and do just a little more work on this, and then that'll be about it. So I found a little gray rock that's a fairly close match in color and texture, and we'll sort of situate that in that side. Then we need to grab a tweezers here and try to get all the dead boxwood leaves out of the soil and the live leaves and any other debris before we try to pretty up our work with the moss and hide any flaws there might be. Now I grabbed this moss off something that had too much of it, and now we'll sort of work the moss into the design. Now the secret to keeping the moss alive and healthy, once you've found some or grown some and you got it on the tree, is to add soil around it after you put it in place. That helps with the moisture. So we'll just take some somewhat fine stuff here and trickle it in. And the last thing we'll do is we'll water this thing with a heavy mister, and then we'll show you the completed project. So here now is our completed project. We've taken our little boxwood, we've pruned it, we've wired it, we've tuned up the soil with some rocks and some moss, and made this into something that would actually be showable for a beginning bonsai enthusiast. So let's do a slow 360 and have a look at it. Thank you for watching, folks.